Good evening. I want to thank everyone for being here tonight, and I hope you're still with us and not dozing off. I'm John Aguirre, and it's been my pleasure to serve the District E, the residents of the District E for the last 2 years. I'm on the Common Council. I'm also on 5 different committees. I'm on Department of Public Works, I'm on Parks and Recs, Finance, and I'm on the Maritime Authority, and I have one other, which I totally forgot. However, the last 2 years have been difficult ones, with economic and political impasses at times on the council floor. But I have refrained from heated debates or writing articles about issues which are really attacks on others. I did not participate in the heated blogs. Some have called me a voice of reason. I have learned from 40 years of business experience, 2 years on the Common Council, and as Mr. Petrini said, they were difficult years, but I've learned a lot from that. I've also learned from 4 years as a commissioner of the 6th Taxing District, being on the board of the Rowan Senior Housing, mentoring in middle schools, raising funds for the Carver Center, etc., that we all must learn to give a little, to compromise, to act together if we are ever going to get things done as citizens. You, the residents of District E especially, cannot wait any longer for politicians to get their act together, since you are concerned about taxes, quality of education, civility. You must vote now, and you must change things now. And lastly, I'll take 1 second. Mr. McCarthy, you voted for raising taxes. I voted not to raise taxes. You were talking about the difficulty it is that taxes are on our citizens, and yet you vote for a 4.97% tax increase to 4%.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
You have 2 more minutes. Ms. Wilson.
The Common Council. The Common Council needs good people focused on the work of the city. We need people who can put the infighting behind us and focus at the task at hand. And we need people who are ready and willing to advocate for the people that they represent, and who can do so while respecting their opinions. I bring a lot of experience, years of experience, from the private, nonprofit, and public sector. I have the experience with the city departments and the relationships necessary to make me an effective member of council from day one. I have worked to make this city better, and I will continue to do so once I'm elected. I've enjoyed every minute of walking in our district. Well, maybe not every minute. There are a couple of really steep driveways. But getting to know the people of our district has been an experience I'll never forget, and I will remain focused on my community and the district that I serve. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wilson. Mr. McCarthy.
I'm going to be an unusual Republican and say, you're right, Mr. Aguirre, I did vote to raise taxes because they needed to be raised because we were in a very difficult situation. We had raised taxes before I was on the council an average of 1.8% a year, far less than the rate of inflation. We had a crisis, not caused by me, not caused by the council, but that came out of the Board of Education and needed to be addressed. You never said one word as to what you would do any differently, not one word. We were in a crisis, and I put together a coalition that acts to solve that crisis, period. Bipartisan, and I would point out your comments about bipartisanship fall a little flat when you have voted with the other 4 members of the minority caucus every time. Okay. Now, as I said before, it's been my pleasure to be your councilman. I've enjoyed the meetings, and I've enjoyed working with that unique group of Democrats and Republicans that came together to form the coalition that I'm talking about. And I'm very happy to accomplish the things I did to make my city a little bit better. The next council term will bring challenges, and we'll need people to stand up for this city, roll up their sleeves, and get to work. I've proven my abilities to work with other reasonable people to get things done, to be a compromised, intelligent discussion, and even some factual debate. Being a reliable vote for a party apparatus that does not seek to improve Norwalk, but only its political standing, is inexcusable, and it's not what we need in this city. We need leaders who are ready to work and discuss the issues we face. Now, I'll say it right here. I understand that my opposition is going to characterize me as mean. If it's mean to not let partisan game players get away with doing favors for friends, if it's mean to make sure that only appropriate and reasonable things are done in our city, and that we don't cave in to those who yelled aloud us, then call me mean. Thank you, and please vote for me.
Please hold your applause till we're finished with this district. Ms. Pepper.
I've lived on 2 continents and interacted.
Okay, a little louder. Please, in the back, be respectful.
And interacted with many people, even people who don't speak my language. And I like living in Norwalk. It's a great city. I like its rivers, its parks, its working harbour. I like its diversity. I like its convenience. And I would like to continue living here. And because I do, is one of the reasons that I'm sitting up here, probably shaking. Sadly, over the 34 years that I have lived here, I've seen sort of an aura of neglect. There's broken sidewalks, there's litter, there's vegetation overgrowth, and some roads that sincerely need repair, one of them being where I live. But one of the things I would like to do is I believe I can bring a voice of a more direct and positive and inspiring voice to the Common Council. I'd like to reinstate the goodwill, the basic goodwill that service in government does, and demonstrate that well-researched policy and intelligent design can make a great difference to the citizens, our local citizens. And so I'm going to ask if you will vote for me and my very commonsensical partner. People talk about common sense, but there isn't much of it around, in my opinion. It's not very common. And so I hope that you'll vote for John and me when you do go to the voting booth. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you, Ms. Tepper. And Mr. Neri.
Well, first of all, I would like to thank the League of Women Voters and all the volunteers that have made this important evening happen. You've heard from all the candidates, and we have the desire, all of us, to improve the city. Our approaches and values are what differentiate us. You have to decide that. Only you can decide that when you're at the polls. Do you want heated debates, or do you want action? That is really what has to be decided in this election. I will continue to fight for transparency and civility in city government. It is time. It is the only way we're going to move forward. I will listen to my constituents, be their voice on the council floor. I've learned a lot in the last 2 years, as I've said before. I want to continue to focus on helping reduce the tax burden on the residential property owner, and supporting it by supporting economic development and create jobs. I would advocate for making planning and zoning more sensitive to neighborhood needs in each district. Working tirelessly, we need to develop a long-term plan to protect our shorelines from damages of storms and flooding. When I brought this up, I was told that's wishful thinking. Let's get back to reality. No, we need a plan. We have to start today, because in 10 years we need a plan to finish, to protect our properties. And we don't have that now. And as far as the tax increase is concerned, yes, you did vote for a 4.93% increase at a time when the teachers have frozen their salaries for a couple of years. We are facing a substantial increase going forward. And it's, we need to work together to resolve that. That's all I have to say. Thank you for the evening.
Thank you, Mr. Neri.